what we brought to the table with Chama is really not only the process of doing change management for change managers, right? But all of those holistic visualizations to be able to bring that information all together again. And we've done it in a way so that we aren't solely focused on a single framework. So Chama is flexible. You have the ability to create your own assessments. You don't have to use our assessments type of a thing, so that you can fit whatever framework you want to use for that.
And this is a really good time to start to touch on your software, Chama Cloud, right? Because I know that as part of this change management process, there's a lot of tracking of things, of the data side of things and the management of it, right? And so can you talk through, first of all, the traditional way of how change is managed, right? And then, kind of how Chama Cloud starts to kind of improve that process?
Well, let's, if you look at it from, let's look at it from a simple perspective. I talked before about you have to understand the what. Right. So one of the first things that a change manager would do on a project initiative is they're going to try to understand what they're doing, right? What's the design? What are the systems involved that are going to change? And based on that, how does that actually impact the stakeholders? And they're going to capture those change impacts. And many times, most change managers use some type of, template that they either have for their company or they have because they like their particular template. Again, that's a little bit of the silo piece captured in a spreadsheet or something like that. And then they may do some graphics around that to try to show that heat map that we talked about. And then along that path, they're going to start to build out a project plan. And that project plan is going to contain things related to when am I going to send communications and training? When am I going to do training? When am I going to do my assessments for readiness? When am I going to assess where we are from an adoption perspective? They would have all those things that they would build out in some kind of, template. The thing is that, from an individual project perspective, you may be able to pull all of those things together. But when you're trying to actually, look across multiple projects, let's say in your portfolio, you have 20 or 25 projects, it becomes a little more complex to be able to take data from disparate sources. Even if you have a framework and you're using some type of online spreadsheet system, right? That information between impacts and plans and risks and issues and all the assessments, they're very disparate. So to bring them all together again and actually, what might have heard the term ETL, right? To extract that information, transform it so that it can be loaded into a format that you might be able to visually understand it a little bit better with some kind of graphic tool. Takes some manual effort and time to be able to go get that done. And you may be able to do that for 20 or 25 projects with a team of people, right? But if you actually want to scale that across your organization, you have to have automation. And what we brought to the table with Chama is really not only the process of doing change management for change managers, right? But all of those holistic visualizations to be able to bring that information all together again. And we've done it in a way so that we aren't solely focused on a single framework. So Chama is flexible. You have the ability to create your own assessments. You don't have to use our assessments type of a thing, so that you can fit whatever framework you want to use for that. In addition, you are able to build out your own kind of project templates with your own communications plans, your training plans, any of your engagement plans that you might have. And we capture a lot of the extra information that you don't have in a project management tool. So that extra information may be, what's the communication vehicle you're going to use and who's the message owner to do that and who's delivering the message, right? Who's got to approve the message. Those are things that aren't typically captured within a project management tool. So with all of that flexibility, and then we actually leverage Microsoft embedded Power BI to actually do all of the visualizations. And we have multiple ways that you can slice and dice that information.
And so where did you get the idea from? Because it sounds really interesting.
That's a really good point. As I mentioned, we have been doing changes of service for a while. So, over 10 years ago, we started building change management offices and changes of service. And we did that using different kinds of spreadsheets and doing that manual ETL with team members. So we build out a team of change managers to deliver change management through all the projects in the portfolio. We standardized on those things, and then we actually created all the visualizations. So we managed that whole thing. And then we would go to another customer. And although we had templates that we had, right, that were in Excel or whatever, those things would have to be modified to fit another client's sort of view of the world and how they want to do change management. And we do it all again, right? So you went through this process of, refining, or even creating new. And about 2 years ago, we looked at this and said, we know how to do this, and there's nothing on the market that can actually do this in a flexible way, right? And we should actually build this. And so we did. Chama was born.
That's fantastic. And congratulations on
Thank you.
for going through a digital transformation yourself and helping other companies kind of handle their own digital transformation.